Cool. Now we're streaming live on YouTube, gents. So here we go. Good evening and welcome, folks. It is Friday on the eve of the Soweto Derby, the 29th of January. But we've already seen a game in the DSTV Premiership. So before we get into the prediction from my panel in terms of their starting 11s heading into that big game for both Soweto sides, we'll reflect on the results that came from this afternoon that saw Stellenbosch go down 2-1 to AmaZulu, having led that game initially, and then a good resurgence from Benny McCarthy's side. And then obviously, I'll also get the thoughts of my panel on the move today that saw Rasheen de Rook leave Maritzburg United to go join a side that one could argue is well stocked, but considering what's happened with Vala as cards are concerned and his suspension and the general lack maybe of options in defense for Mamelodi Sundowns, we'll discuss his move as well. Let me introduce you to the panel. Tonight, I have Eddie Dina, Shweb Walters, and Kelvin Sosibo joining me. Gents, good evening and welcome. Eddie, let's start with you. The result from earlier today. AmaZulu, Benny reckons he's never seen his side play so badly, but for them to still manage to get the 3 points means they kind of fought through the pain for that result.
Yeah, I was not impressed by how AmaZulu played. I think they got the chances and not even clear chances, like it was half chance, and the good thing is that they made sure that they utilized them and then they scored those 2 goals. But I think Stellenbosch was a better side and could have created more goals also. But you know what? Sometimes in the game of football, like if you want results, like Bene said, sometimes you just need to grind them. He wasn't happy with how they played, but the bottom line is they got the 3 points. I think now it's back to the drawing board and prepare again for the next game.
Schwab, on the side of Stellenbosch, I mean, some positives there. Steve is running with these youngsters and they're all full of energy. And, whilst we might not be seeing the ROI just yet, it's important for them to get these kind of runs out and taste this, defeat. When you played so well, it's all the things that build character and surely help them to become better players as they're only starting out their career, some of them.
Yeah, good evening. Yeah, I think why Benny said it was the worst. It was the worst game he's seen AmaZulu players because of the amount of opportunities that Stellenbosch had. And I mean, yes, as much as we say we had Adams, we had Dupree, we had Van Rooyen as youngsters, but they didn't show it. The only time you could actually see that they were youngsters and the inexperience was in front of goal from Dupree.
Yeah.
His decision making, his head was down all the time. He never saw runners. And I mean, that is where you have to obviously trust the process and allow these youngsters to come in on their own. But I don't honestly think, besides in the attacking side of things, you could actually see those were youngsters. I mean, Van Rooyen was up and down. At 1 minute, he was chasing Sitebi. He got a touch in for the goalkeeper, and then he was back on the attack again. So in that sense, and I mean, it's phenomenal to see people like, Adams as well, him coming in as a youngster. Nsengi, he's not even 20 years old, a foreigner. So it's good for Stellenbosch, but I also believe that to a certain degree, they have to also get some positive results. Otherwise, as much as it is for Steve Barker to nurture these youngsters, it's going to come at the expense of the club at the end of the day.
No, for sure. So, see, to that point, I mean, we speak on the other side, it was experience that got the job done. You had Major and you had Bongintuli returning to the fold for AmaZulu with a critical goal to show just how crucial he is to their cause and trying to get some momentum, upward momentum on the table.
Yeah, I think for Benny at this point, he's trying to be complacent to say that it wasn't a good game to watch. Yes, you might agree with that. But what is important for Benny now is to actually get 3 points. And that he managed to get that on the road. So for him, it's good confidence booster to see the direction that he's trying to go to. With Tuli coming back to the team, I think it's giving him a good boost, seeing his strikers finding the net, the back of the net. A lot could be said that even though he was injured, you could see that there wasn't that kind of there wasn't that link. Majoro is working well. Also, congratulations on him getting the man of the match. So it proves that there is something that is coming, and AmaZulu can get into a better position.
Yeah, there we go. They'll be up against Bloemfontein Celtic in their next encounter, whilst Stellenbosch will host Golden Arrows in the next round of their fixtures. Let's now talk about the move of the day, which saw Rasheen de Rook move to Mamelodi Sundowns. Eddie, I mean, what a club. You have Mvala suspended, and you're like, okay, let's just go get one of the most promising, most solid youngsters to just come and join our defense and help us out.
Yeah, I think if you look at him, how he played last season, I think he was a marvel to watch. I think at some point he was considered one of the best defenders last season. And then having him joining Sundowns now, and I think if he gets a chance, I think with the ability that he has, with the amount of work rate that he has, and I think it's that youngster that if he gets that chance, I think he is going to grab it. I think because he's very comfortable on the ball, he can read the ball, he's very smart, and I also like how he talks to his defenders. So given a chance, I think he will definitely grab it.
Shoaib, I mean, I'm sure you know him better than most. Is this his opportunity to go into that side and cement a place? So we speak about youngsters going there, the likes of Machaman, the likes of Domingo. They're still, as much as we've maybe seen their faces, haven't quite staked the claim in that starting 11. But Rasheen, considering, the need for a solid defender for in Mamelodi Sundowns, do you see him grabbing it with both hands and staking a claim?
Yes, I think he's definitely got the capabilities to become a solid starter at Mamelodi Sundowns. Not because of the injuries. I also think that they are looking at younger blood. I mean, you look at Wayne Arendse that left or is on his way out. You look at Nascimento, which is over 30. They're looking at for a good partner for Lebusa. And I think with him and with his capabilities that he have and his good attributes of reading the game, he likes to build up from back. He's quite comfortable with the ball at his feet. It's going to be exciting times for him. I know for a fact is because I spoke to Fadlu Davids quite recently that Fadlu Davids we spoke about 2 years ago. As soon as Fadlu got to Orlando Pirates, they wanted to sign De Rook. He wanted De Rook there. And then at the end of last season also they were pushing for De Rook. But I think could have possibly be because Tyson came as a free agent, so I think maybe that could have been the stumbling block of why they couldn't get De Rook at Pirates, because I know that he was a main target as well as Ofori. So I think he's probably kicking himself now because they've lost out on a gem.
No, for sure. Okay, I mean, so looking at the table, Sundowns already have the stingiest defense. They've only conceded 7 goals. This surely, if someone thought that the title was in the bag, this probably seals the deal. We have a player of such high quality come in to what is already the strongest defense in the league so far this season. The only way is up, surely.
Yeah. I'm happy for De Rook at this point. I think he goes to that club being a good fit. I would like to disagree with the panel with the panel in saying it's not because of the injury. I think there's a longer term and there's a bigger plan for De Rook, and I think he's going to slot into that space very well because the number of defenders that they have, as Shoaib has mentioned, you're looking at the age and you're looking at how they want to build up, and the character, the player's character fits very well with Sundown. Somebody that is comfortable, somebody that can start from the back, somebody that can dictate, that knows how to that knows how to create a solid back defensive line. So this signings comes at a very critical point where Sundowns is actually on their having an Achilles in terms of their defense. So I think this is a very, very good defense move.
Okay, and it's also critical to note that obviously Sundowns have had to reinforce in defense due to the untimely passing of one Mujeka Mudisha. So, you think to yourself that injecting the youth into the defense is almost with a direct replacement for Madisha. And, then begs the question of what could have been if you had those two in a Sundowns defense together. We'll never know, but, obviously rest in peace to young Madisha. And we do wish Rasheen de Rook all the best at Mamelodi Sundowns. Okay, let's turn our focus to the derby that's happening this weekend that sees Orlando Pirates in action against Kaiser Chiefs, a resurgent Kaiser Chiefs, even though both sides kind of come into this one on the back of draws, nothing, to write home about at this point in time, but that could essentially be the calm before the storm. So, gentlemen, I'm going to start with the easy one. I think this kind of picks itself. Eddie Dina, the goalkeepers on either side. Who are you going with?
Yeah, I think with Pirates, I think I'll go with is it Ofori?
Mm-hmm.
I think, yeah. Looking at him, I think he's one that played the last two derbies when they met. I think it was the MTN semifinals.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Ofori. So I wouldn't change that. I would.
Yeah, he's played the last two games as well, so it kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I would definitely keep him. And then from Chiefs side, yes, I will stick obviously Apey because we have seen that Kun has been trending on Twitter instead of him being a training supposed to be focusing on his career. So
yeah, so
why
we
would you
can't wait for
choose
your
someone
answer,
that is,
by the way. But yes, Eddie, carry
yeah?
on.
So
You're right.
So why do we choose someone who's not always there training? So I think I will go for Apey again.
Okay, see, I'm starting you guys off easy, Schwabe. I'm guessing I'm going to go out on a limb here and say you're probably going to agree with Eddie as far as the picks for goalkeepers for the both sides.
Yes, I think, yeah, definitely. Ofori was only out and Sandilands was filling in. He was injured and then sick. And I think with Akpai starting most of the games now this year, I think it's just going to continue for them for continuity. Chiefs has picked up 11 points now out of the last 5 games. So I don't think they should change anything at the back, well, with regards to the goalkeeping department.
For sure. Calvin, your pick for the goalkeepers?
I will agree with the gentleman. Ofori being in goals and Akpe being goals for Chiefs. I think with Pirates, they're gonna have a strong lead coming from Ofori, as you know. Physical presence is there, communication, being a keeper that commands, that likes to start, that's comfortable, good shot stopper. So I think without a question or a shadow of a doubt, he needs to start. And for Ofori, and for Akpay, the same could be said, but there's a little bit of an improvement that needs to be on him, as most of the time he's not the most commanding goalkeeper, but his physical presence is the one actually that makes him stand up. Yes, we know in terms of our number one goalkeeper and his issues, but I hope hopefully we could actually look into this and understand that this club is bigger than him, and then he needs to actually calm down and focus on playing, not in other reasons. I know he can come back. He just needs to have a new pair of attitudes, because I'm sure he would like to actually be part of this.
No, for sure. I'm as any player would. Like, let's then focus then in terms of the men in front of Ekpe. We'll start with the Kaiser Chiefs side. I mean, we've seen some sort of stability now with Matoho being restored to the side. Obviously, they're without Rama due to injury, but you have a guy, you have Daniel Cardozo, and Pilani Zulu is also a fixture in them, and you have the likes of Ngezana. So as far as the back four are concerned, for Kaiser Chiefs, starting with you, Calvin, let's maybe see how would you set out that stall in front of Daniel Ekpe? Who would the four be in front of him?
My pick firstly would be Zulu on the left.
Mm-hmm.
We have Mato on the center back with Cardoso and Frosla on the right. The reason why I actually pushed Cardoso to pair up with Mato, I think because of the Pirates front three, very speedy, tricky, creative, and they need somebody that is that strong, because Mato aerially is good. Cardoso, he might read the game much better than him being in the middle, because I think in the middle is going to be a total waste, because he makes a lot of hasty fouls. He pushes on too much into an offensive, and then that always gives the game into many phases. So he opens up for a second line, so he breaks lines very easily. So being slotted to his natural position, I think this is going to come to a benefit to Kaizer Chiefs if they were to stop the front three of Orlando Pirates. Zulu, with him attacking passively, adding more numbers into the offensive play, it will allow Mashiane also to be more alive and being able to combine with the midfielders and also with the striker, which would be Samir. And Frostler as well offers the same. So if one goes, one stays. So that gives you a well balance in terms of looking after uh, uh, Bongani Sam, who's more deadly in delivering crosses in the box. So I think with Frostler, the type of energy that he has and Sam has, they will match each other. And it always will give a good and a healthy competition, because if Bongani does go up, that means Frostler will have a role to play to actually work on the pockets of Bongani that is left.
Okay, so no Ngezana for you in that back four.
No.
No, okay. That's interesting. So there we go. For Mr. Sosibo, it's Zulu and Frosler down the wings with Cardozo and Matoho in the center, which I guess will get tricky when we start bringing in a gay into the midfield, should he be brought in by you, gents. But let's carry on with you, Schwabe. Who do you think that back four will be for Kaiser Chiefs?
Yeah, well, if I'm gonna go about similar opposition that what they played with speedy players up front, I'm gonna think about the game that they played against Stellenbosch, where they had a good front three with speed. And in that game, they used Pilani Zulu, Mato, Agai, and Ngenzana. Now, the only change I will make is I will also bring on Frosler on the right hand side. I will still keep with Mato and Akumo in the middle, and Pilani Zulu on the left. Reason why is I think Frosler's obviously got a lot more speed, and I think he can also put a bit of pressure on Orlando Pirates going forward as well. He's got quite a bit of skill. He's got a good cross on him, and I think that is what they're missing out on the right hand side. Gazana and Moleko, I'm not happy with the final third crossing entries, decision making, and I think Reef is just a well more balanced defender, right fullback, modern day fullback. So my four will be Pilani Zulu, Mato, Agai, and Frosler.
Okay, there we go. So only one player different from Calvin, but like we said, that's because Gavin Hunt tends to switch it up between a guy and Cardozo as far as who sits in front of that back four. Eddie, your pick for your back four?
I would go with the same as Shoaib. I think, have mostly on the right. If you have Fosler there, he's very smart, very intelligent player, and he can also score goals. And then he overlaps smartly, and he can bring in crosses, and he can also dribble. So, and then at the centre back, I will have Agay and Mato, and then on the left I will have Zulu. I think if you look at it, I mean, just is the same defense that I've been playing the last 5 games, except for Fosler that they have to play Angeza. But now, because like my panel are saying that when you have the speedy wingers of Pirates, then you need to have somebody that is very smart. So that's why we have to bring in Fosler right there.
Okay, let's stay with you then, Eddie. As far as going to the opposition for Orlando Pirates now, in terms of their back four for this one, or is it a back three? How do you approach, how they've set up their stall? Some will say it's a 3-5-2. Some will say it's, a 4-2-2-1. How do you kind of see the actual formation for Orlando Pirates? Because if you look at the past 2 team sheets, one has them set up as a 4-4-2. Another has them set up as a 3-5-2. So, in your mind, Eddie, how do you see it?
I think I will go with 4 at the back. On the right, I think I would put Yoster on the right, and 2 centre backs. It will have to be Tyson and Jelly, and then on the left, I will have to go with Sam. I think Sam and Fosler, I think it's going to be a very good competition there, because both players play similar style of play, and they all both love going forward, and they all love scoring goals too and crosses. So it's going to be very interesting on the left side of Pirates, and then on the right side of Kaiser Chiefs. Same applies again, even on the right of Pirates again. Same thing. Yoster loves to go forward. He can also cross, and he's very smart. So then when you have those two, Tyson and Jelly, I think if only they can communicate it will be the best
Right.
center back. Because the only problem sometimes you find that Tyson is trying to overdo things, of which he needs somebody that is going to tell him to calm down. I mean, this is a derby, so you know that once you do mistakes, probably that is the end of it. Because yes, good thing is that there are no supporters in there, but when there are supporters, then it's a different story. So I think now Jalen needs to play a role in terms of communicating with Tyson, and I think they will be pretty solid.
Okay. Shoaib, in terms of your starting set of defenders for Orlando Pirates, how different is it from what Eddie's picked for his back four?
Look, for me, is I think with regards to the 3-5-2 formation that we've seen the last time was against Maritzburg United, where they had Innocent Mayele, Apijele, and Katwayo as the back three. I think it was just to counter what Middendorp was trying to do, and I think Middendorp was also going like a 5-3-2, 5-3-2, or if you want to call it 3-5-2. So I think it was mostly just to try and also spread Middendorp's team, because they're very compact at times. So when you have your out and out wing backs, as in Sam and Otto, I think was on the other side. With regards to that, was obviously to stretch Maritzburg. So I think they're still going to stick with a normal 4-4-2. You have to look at your options that you are going to also play against. Are you going to play with a front two, as in Nurkovic and Castro together? Are you going to play with Nurkovic alone, and then Nobo, Manyama, Mashiani, options that you're going to play against? So I think they're going to go with a back four. I think I would, if I was Orlando Pirates head coach, I'd go with Nyauza at right back, Apijele, Tyson, and Innocent Mayele. But I would still have Sam in my team.
Mayele is
Okay, but
suspended.
Mayele is suspended.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
Mayele is suspended, so I would go with Sam as well. Sam
Okay,
as left back.
So it's Sam at left back, and then you've got Jelle and Tyson and Wade Juster.
Nyauza.
Okay, so Nyauza instead of Juster, who hasn't, to be fair, started the last two games. So yeah, it probably makes more sense. So Nyauza in your back four there, Schwabe. Kelvin, how do you feel about those back fours? I'm guessing that yours might be a mix of those two gentlemen's approach.
Yeah. My back four will obviously be Sam. It will be Happy Jelly. I will also have Shatwayo, and I will have Yosta on the right. Reason being for my pick back four is Sam. We know that he affords the team the ability to move forward with speed, good combinations, and then he delivers good crosses in the box. He plays between lines, and he knows how to play for runners who are making runs on the channels. So he's a quite a good player on that side. So he's a good balance. And then in the middle, with Jayla and Tyson, I think Jayla is going to be more of a player that's going to be behind Tyson, just to guide him, because aerially Tyson is present. He's the one that will be competing with Nukovic. So Jayla is going to be the one that's going to be picking up the pieces, because he reads the game far better than Tyson. And then on the right, we have Yosta, good energy, also a good cross of the ball, gets into an offensive play with speed and delivers good crosses. So I will go with that.
Okay, interesting there. So Shoaib, just to confirm, you're not even going with Tyson in the back four, or did I miss something?
Yes, no, I said Tyson. I'm going with Apijele and Tyson. Yeah,
okay.
you definitely have to have
Sam.
You definitely.
I feel like you said Nyauza and who else?
No, I said Nyauza at right back. I'm not playing Joster. I'm not playing Wade
You're not
Joster.
playing Joster. Okay.
No, I'm not playing Wade
Joster was
Joster.
in the mix somewhere. Okay.
No. I'm not playing. The reason why I'm not playing Wade Joster is I think that Sam will offer a lot of attacking options. So I think I would go with one going and one staying. And I know Sam is very offensive. So I would have Nyauza being a little bit more disciplined, so that I at least have cover for Tyson if they do it on transition. I also will take into consideration the speed that Kaiser Chiefs might bring. I mean, you have now Manyama, you have Happy Mashiani, you have Ngobo, you have Blom, all those that have good attacking attributes and they're quite quick. So I'm going to take that into consideration. And I think with Gavin this game,
Yosta is quicker than Yauza.
no, but I need Nyauza to stay. I'm talking about my defensive. So what I would go with is I'm going to go with Sam. You go. Nyauza, be a little bit more disciplined and stay. Jooster for me is he plays what he sees. He won't see if he sees a 1-2 to go forward, he's going to go. Nyauza will say, you know what? Let's try and build up. Let's go all the way back to the left, and we rather attack on the left. That's how I look at it. I'm not going to have both of them going because I also know that I must expect Reef Rosler to come. So if Reef comes, Happy Jelly goes over, then I still have Nyauza as another centre back to cover Tyson. Do you understand? That is how I'm looking at it defensively. If they were to go with, because you must remember, for me, is Reef at the moment is playing as a right half. So what if he does play right half? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If he plays right half and Nganzana plays, which means they obviously going to try and exploit Sam's space that he's giving away there. So even Manyama will go into that space, which means it's always going to pull Happy Jelly out. I know we're going to have Motswari, we're going to have Monari that can be there, but I would feel more comfortable having another central defender covering there. That's just the way I would go.
Yeah, but Shahid, sometimes if I would prefer to play with Shota there because why? Now it depends on the midfielders that I'm going to have, and then if I say go, then with the type of midfielders that I have, then I know that listen, they can cover. Whether Sam goes, then we know that they will shift to the left, and then if Josta go again, they will then shift on the right.
Yes,
so
and alternate.
Yes, depends on the midfielders that I'm going to put.
Okay, so let's look at the most recent that has played most of the games that we know is going to play as attackers. Can I expect Otto to come back to defend a lot? Not really. Can I expect Lords to come and defend? Lords doesn't defend. Yes, I'm going to have Monari and maybe Motswari because they've also been regulars. I know Fortune Makaringa is a definite starter because the coach is a big fan of Makaringa. So what we can guarantee is Otto will play, Lords will play, and Makaringa will play. Right? So so now if we're sitting with, for example, two holding midfielders in Monari and Motswari. So
yes.
Yeah, so we still have place for one more attacker, right? Am I right? So for me, is on the more comfortable side is, as much as I have two holding midfielders in Monari and Motswari, I will feel more where I can allow Sam to also be a part of the attack. So it will give him
but
freedom.
You're exploiting him if you're doing that. You're exploiting that because his recovery is not that good enough.
But that is what I'm saying.
Player. So now you're having more players who are going up, but you're leaving at the back. But remember, now if Happy gets dragged more onto the side, then you're opening up for the middle. That's where Noble will come in. So now why don't you?
But then you still have two midfielders.
Exactly.
Of Munari
and yes, that is what I'm saying. So I have two of them, but now I always need to cover myself for transition football. So I cover myself is I'm going to have all the time is I'm going to have Happy Jelly, I'm going to have Tyson, I'm going to have Nyauza. So I still have a back three. So I still have three central defenders, and I will have one holding midfielder, whichever one didn't go, Monari or Motswari.
So you're playing a defensive.
No, I'm just giving Sam more opportunities, cover, and also more opportunities to pin Frosler back. Do you understand? So for me, it's about, I play a little. It's a little bit lopsided. It's a little bit lopsided, but I would rather have that cover because now, for example, imagine I have Jooster also going, Sam going, which is a normal case in that team. So you're sitting with Jelly slow, Tyson slow, Monari as a cover. Do you understand? I'm not going to be very comfortable because I know my team is a free. They a ball playing team. If they're going to lose that ball there, transition. That's my only concern is the transition for Orlando Pirates.
Okay. Well, we're speaking about Calvin. Let's deal with the midfield and see then how this kind of plays itself out then because we're on Orlando Pirates. And I guess Schwabe, maybe let's start with you because you've kind of earmarked already who you figure will start there with the likes of Lodge, Hotto, Makaringe, Motwari, and Monare already coming up as far as, players for the midfield and attack. So let's talk about that midfield. How do you set that up now? With do you have the two guys in Motwari and Monare just sitting in front of the front four, or how would you structure it?
Look, they've been working together. Sorry, for a while now. So they've got a very good understanding to my way of what I watch of them is if the one goes, the other one stays. So they've got that game intelligence. They're not both going to go. So what I like about them is that they both, you can call box to box. They're not really both sitting. Whichever one is part of the play or if it's in their zone, they will attack. So for me, it would be my three midfielders would be Monari, Motwari, Makaringa. The three M's. That's what I would go with.
Okay.
And I might as well just finish my three up front. It's gonna be Lorch, Otto, and I don't know. I'm having a feeling that I want Vincent Pule in this game.
Right. So Lorch,
Yeah,
Otto, and Pule.
yeah, I think
So
that.
you reckon it's maybe what one too many or too big an occasion for young Azola Chobeni, who's been in the squad starting
And doing
on
well.
both last two games, and doing well. So where does that put him then? If you're going with Pule, who starts on the bench in the last game, is it a big occasion? So you need someone with BMT. Is it too big a game for a youngster like that?
I think you got it on. Yes, the reason why I won't go with him is I just feel, as much as there's no supporters, it's still bragging rights, and he's getting messages tonight. He's getting messages from everybody. I mean, he's seeing on Twitter, and it's all over the show. It's all over the country on social media, and that can also build a bit of pressure for a young player like him. So I would feel that I would definitely bring him on as an impact player.
Sure.
Maybe an hour, 75 minutes into the game, depending on on the situation, but definitely not starting this game.
Okay. So let's go then. Since Schwabe has gone and given us the midfield and attack, let's do the bundle deal once. Who would you go with as far as your midfielders and your attack are concerned?
I will go in my middle. I will go with Ben Motwari. I will also go with Munare and Makaringa. Reason is I know Pirates would like to play. Yeah, they would like to play reinforced defense. They will actually try to reinforce that middle to avoid the creativity of Chiefs players. And then moving up front, I will go with Pule, Mohango, and then I'll go with Lodge up front. Reason being, I feel that
Lotto. Lotto's been.
No, Otto for me. No, not for me. No.
It's not Otto. Is he not Otto for you?
No, it's not. It's not.
So you rather
go I will go. Yeah. Reason being is me using that. I think Vincent Pule, this is a game that he can actually come to the occasion.
For
he can rise to an occasion.
Yeah.
And then I'm looking at Mango also. He's more energetic. He can give that backline of Chiefs a good run for their money. And looking at Lodge also, no BMT matches, he will rise to the occasion as well. So those front three, I think those are the players that will actually give Pirates, that will give Chiefs more of a problem in their defensive third. In the middle, I'm quite concerned that that's where they're going to win their battle. So it would activate Pule, Lodge, and Mohango. Mohango, who likes dropping to half spaces nicely, and Lodge making runs behind defenders. And Pule, with their speed, I think they're going to be unstoppable.
Interesting take. Okay, Mr. Dinya, you have no space for the youngster in your starting 11, young Chobeni, or do you maybe continue with him? How do you set up your stall? I want to see if it's much different to what the other guys have come up with.
I would love for this youngster to start in this derby, but I mean,
but there's a but.
This is going to be difficult. Okay, in the midfield, obviously, as I always call them, the three M's, Monar, Makaringa, and sorry, I think, those are the
staple.
That always graft. Listen, any team, they always give their 100%, and even goals, assists will be coming from these guys. And then up front, obviously, the first player that I would pick, okay, apart from, yes, Loch, 100%, we know that Loch has to be there. Even if you look at the history with Orlando Pirates, with Kaiser Chiefs, he creates, score goals. Otto, one player that has been playing multiple positions for Pirates. Whenever they needed somebody to go on the right, he will play. So I would definitely have Otto, and I would gonna use his pace. He's also crosses, and then he can even score goals too. So if I have Otto on the right, I will put Loch on the center, and then Vincent Pule. Vincent Pule, another player, give Kaiser Chiefs. He will play like his last game. He is also a player that creates, he assists, and I love his creativity. And he's not scared. He will go full out, and then he will give Pirates goals and even assists.
Okay. Well, Kelvin, you might have to go back and become, agree with the other guys because Mango is out. We've just learned news in Mango will not be available for the game. So that considered, does Hoto not come back into the mix, or do you go with Chobeni? You have a decision to make because you got Loch and Pule.
I've got
Part of
Choben.
that. You're gonna go Choben.
Choben. Yeah,
Choben.
I'll go Choben.
Chobeni over Hoto. Wow.
Yes.
Interesting poll.
You put him where, Soso? Choben.
Eh? Say again?
You put him where?
But I can't have Otto in my team. I think
Why not?
I would pick Vincent.
Why not?
No,
Why not?
I cannot.
So who's the tip of the spear?
I
Who's the
would
tip
put.
of your spear? So.
Say again?
Who's the tip of your spear? Who's leading that line?
The front line.
Who's the reference point? Who's the man in the middle? Or is there no man in the middle?
With
Is that part
Mabasa
of
being
it?
injured, I think I want to play flat 3 with more not having a point of
Out and out.
reference.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would not like to have an out and out so that I can have more creativity because anyway, in the middle we're solid. There's no way that they're going to break the middle. So allowing those youngsters and the blend of senior players to usher the youngsters and give the youngsters confidence. I think those players that I've mentioned, which is I will have Pule, Lodge, and then I'll put maybe Choben in the mix there. The reason being is I will not have Hoto. I pick Pule in front of Hoto. One, technique from Pule, much superior than Hoto. His recovery, speed, dribbling, his 1v1s, always good. So I'm looking at that when moving forward and how much impact that he will make. So with the Hoto, is more used for his speed to actually to come back. So it doesn't give more in terms of an attacking balance, but more defensive.
Okay.
Who has got more pace also between Hoto and Pule?
There's a difference when you run without the ball and with the ball. There's a difference.
Attacking.
I'm talking about the players that move.
I was just asking about pace. I was asking about
me.
pace.
That's why I said technically and technique. I'm talking about those two, technically and technique.
But Sosi, for me is if you don't want to have a point of reference, then you need players like Otto with speed because basically you want one of them to be pulling.
I've already got a player with speed. I've got Lodge.
Lodge hasn't been scoring.
No. I'm not talking scoring. I'm talking speed now. We're getting into that.
Yes.
I'm talking speed and creativity.
I understand. Speed and creativity for who? Who's going to run onto the ball?
They cannot score.
Who's he going to supply? Yes, but now my thing is this: Lodge, you must also remember is, and I have Lodge in my team, but my biggest concern is Lodge is not scoring, so I can't even expect
him. So why are you putting him in there?
No,
why putting him
to help create.
For me,
because of previous.
No, let him answer. Let him answer. I want to know his answer, Eddie. Why are you putting him there?
I'm bringing Lodge in.
No, Eddie, not.
Because of the previous.
Okay.
Eddie, wait.
Okay, I'm gonna explain. I'm actually gonna for me is Lodge is in my team as a diversion because he's going to attract a lot of the defenders. But I know that Otto is somebody that can bounce off of them.
If he attracts more attention, doesn't that create space? Because Pule, that's gonna allow Sam to actually be more active because Pule is gonna cut him. He's more or less going to play as a half striker in a sense, because they're going to want to use Bongani Sam for those crosses.
Who do you
Yes, and
expect
then
to get on the end
also
of Pogani Sam's crosses? Because it's good crosses.
Yes.
Yeah. And
So
Otto has
that's like
been.
what
But Otto has been. Otto has been
you're
scoring
forcing.
from crosses. He's getting into those good positions. So how are you not going to have somebody like Otto? He's been the
I'm not
on-form
having
player.
him. No, I'm not having him. I've got nothing
Just
personal
like
with him. I'm
that.
not having
He's
him
not
on my
having
team.
him. He's not
Yes,
having
I'm
him.
not
Okay.
having him on my
but
team.
He's not
Okay.
having
Yeah.
him.
okay,
That's all it
okay.
is.
Okay.
Even Lodge, when Lodge hasn't been scoring, which is fine. But then if you look at all the games, the 10 competitive games that you've played for Pirates against Kaiser Chiefs, you have managed to score 4 goals, and then you've assisted 3. So when it comes to Kaiser Chiefs, that's the type of player that you need.
Okay.
Yeah, but then
I
I
don't
also
dispute the Lord side. I don't just see on my team having a Hoto on my team. That's all.
Okay,
No,
so
but
just
I'm
no
asking
Hotto.
you.
He doesn't, everyone else he's
But
fine with, guys. Just no Hotto for him. Okay.
No, I
you,
think it's overcrowding, man. Having Pule, Lodge,
Overcrowding.
no, man. It's too much players on the left there. That means
you
that
will
the
even
side's
take an
going to be.
injured Mango instead of Otto.
No,
Instead of a Hotto, and a whole national team Namibian player.
Yeah.
Namibian international, not good enough for Saucy starting 11.
no,
Okay,
it's good. It's very good.
let's move on to Kaiser Chiefs, gents. You have a couple of names to pick from, the likes of Mashiani, Nurkovic, Manyama, Ngobo. You've obviously got the likes of, who else you got there? Macheke. A guy for some of you might be the one in the midfield. You've got the likes of Kieran Backers also in the mix. There's Leonardo Castro. There's a whole, Njabula Blom. So you've got quite a few names as far as, stacking that midfield and attack for Kaiser Chiefs. Let's start with you, Eddie. Who is going to be in the midfield for you for Chiefs, and who's going to be up front?
I think with the midfield, I think I will put Cardoso as the holding midfield because,
Okay.
I know he's very aggressive. And even though he's not that smart player that would want to go forward and, give those passes, but at least he can be that guy that will block, all the dangers from Orlando Pirates. And then I will put Ngobo, obviously, in there because, we all know that boy is very smart. He's very intelligent, creativity. Mm-hmm. And then I will need someone that is going to assist him in terms of way that it can not everything will be dependent on it. So I will put Manyama there, and then him and Manyama, I'll put them there as the two attacking midfielders, and then Cardoso is one that will do all the daily work. And then up front, I'll play with 3. I'll have to put Zuma on the right, and then I'll put Nukovic, and then I'll put Mashiane on the left. There is no Castro. Yeah.
Impact player, maybe.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
You will come in, yes, when probably things are not going well, then he's that type of player that will bring in and then, cause havoc.
Okay, there we go. I mean, it's a lot of pace and energy there and some experience, obviously, to boot. Schwabe, how different is your rest of the Kaiser Chiefs team after your defenders and your keeper? Mr. Walters? Schwabe is buffering at the moment, I think. Okay, Sosi, let's go with you. Okay.
Yes, my midfield, I will actually have Novo, and then I'll have Bakos in the middle, and then I'll have Zuma on the right, Mashian on the left, Manyama, and then I'll have Samir up front.
Okay, so you're playing with the front 2 of Manyama and Samir.
Yep.
Okay.
The reason why.
Kevin, I didn't hear you. You said in the middle you were going to have who?
Nobo.
Yeah. Nobo, Mashian, Bakos, and then Zuma.
In the middle.
And then up front, I'm going to have Manyama, and then I'm going to have Samir.
So that's interesting.
Now, the reason for
so there's no Cardozo for you.
No. Cardozo is there. He's playing at the back. You guys were not listening, guys.
Okay, no,
Cardoso is
you're the only one who's got Cardozo at the back.
Yeah, he's got Cardoso in the defense.
Then
So no,
listen
okay.
to me.
No,
Okay,
I
then
got it.
listen to what I have to say. Listen to what I've got to say. I know that Cardoso already is used to playing more in the middle. So he's the one that's actually going to move more upper in the middle to join the middle pack. The reason is Chiefs, have you seen when they start playing, they use 3 at the back. They play with 3 at the back at most. So that's why most of the time they are hit on transition. And then that's why I'm worried when it comes to when you have that speedy Pirates front line that is there. Because what they do is when they start, they push their fullbacks too high up. So now when you have Cardoso and Matoho there, they overstretch. So if you're going to have a Zulu going and then you're going to have a Froster that is going to be staying, then at least you still have the 3 that's going to be at the back. So this recovery rate is recovering is going to be now from in the mid, joining in the middle to break in the reinforced midfield of Orlando Pirates. And then he's going to be playing in his natural position. Barcos is going to be the one that is going to be playing as a screener in front of those. Even though Cardoso now is used to that role, but I see more is going to be dealing with those balls at the back than to be in the middle because they're going to murder him with those 3 M's in the middle because he's going to be chasing the whole time and then he's going to be opening up a lot of spaces in between.
Okay, interesting outlook there, Schwabe.
Kamza, I think maybe we needed to start over again, and actually we should elaborate on the question of, is it who do we think is going to play or who would we actually want to play? Because now it's about I want. Yeah, no, because now I'm just hearing Calvin is I want this player or this player is not going to play in my team. I'm going to have to go with what I've seen in the facts, and Cardoso has played there well in the last 5 games. So I'm going to go with Cardoso. I think that Cardoso is going to play there. Do I want him to play there? I think, yes, I would also want him to play there. I would then go with Zuma on the right, Mashiani on the left, Bakos and Manyama in the midfield. I'm on the fence when it comes to Ngobo, so it's a tough one between Manyama, Ngobo, and Bakos at the moment. So I need to choose 2 out of those 3. Because Ngobo has contributed now lately with goals, I will have to go with him instead of Bakos, and Manyama with Samir up front.
Okay, interesting.
So to be, yeah, what I don't want to see is I don't want to see Manyama out wide. I'm going to be extremely unhappy if Kevin does play him out wide because I think in a game like this he's going to be extremely influential with his intelligence just behind Samir.
Okay, that makes sense. I think he is kind of wasted out wide. So see?
Yeah.
So Shoaib, you worried that I don't have Otto in my team for Pirates?
Yeah. I'm not worried. I'm just curious.
You are worried because you're putting it back and forth. That's not the question.
That's
not what I want.
No, because I wanted at least an answer that I understood.
That's what you want. That's what you want.
No,
not
the
what
answer.
I want. That's my team. No, I gave you the answer and I gave you the lineup.
Okay,
cool. You gave me an answer.
Okay, cool.
But now I'm just asking you to take into consideration that Otto has been extremely
No, you don't influence my decision.
Player.
That's my lineup. That's
I'm not
my
influencing.
lineup. I'm happy with it.
Okay.
Yeah, but you said
what is your scouting telling you, Calvin? If you're going to choose Mango ahead of Hotto, who's been in form and is a good reference point for the likes of Bongani Sam when they cross balls in, what more does Hotto need to do?
If Mohango was there to play as a striker, if he was there, yes. But at this point, he's not there. But I can't use this pool already occupying that position. For me, I think he's a good starter.
Okay. Guys, let's recap then. Let's recap. I'm going to start with, let me see. Let me start with you, Calvin. At the back, Kaiser Chiefs. Make sure, correct me where I'm wrong. At the back for Kaiser Chiefs, it is one, Itu. No, I'm kidding. Daniel Akpay. In front of him is Zulu. You've got Frostler, Cardozo, and Matohone. Right? I've got you so far. And then as far as the the midfield is concerned, you're saying Ngobo, Bacchus, Mashiane, and Zuma with Manyama and Samir Nukovic up front. That's your starting 11,
Correct.
Kaiser Chiefs. Okay, cool. So let's carry on and see if I've got this right for you, Shweb. Shweb, you're going with Akpay at the back, Zulu, Frost, Lamatoho, and Agai, and of course, Cardozo, Zuma, Mashiane on the flanks. Then you've got Ngobo and Manyama and Samir rounding off the front pack. Yeah, I got you right there.
Yeah.
Sounds
That's
correct. Okay, and then Mr. Dinya, you the same as far as the goalkeeper is concerned. The defense: Zulu, Frosla, Matoho, and Agai. Have I got you
Yes,
right? Okay,
right.
cool. And then in the midfield, you've got Cardozo, you got Ngobo and Manyama, and then you got Zuma, Nukovic, and Mashiane leading the line in what is I see as a 4-3-3 on your side. So okay, guys, those are your sides for
100%.
Kaiser Chiefs so far. Okay, and then let's confirm what you have as far as Orlando Pirates is concerned. I hope you guys are making notes because I'm probably going to tweet these before the game starts, and then we'll see how close you guys are. So we're gonna
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
We're gonna
Please.
see whether you're playing football or fantasy football. Let's go
No,
then with,
never.
on the side of Orlando Pirates. In goal, everyone's agreed will be Mr. Ofori starting things out. And then as far as the defense is concerned, Eddie, you went with Yusta, Jele, Tyson, and Sam. Schwabe, you went with Sam, Jele, Tyson, and Nyawuza. Calvin, you said Sam, Jele, Tyson, and Yusta at the back, okay? And then as far as the midfield is concerned, and up front, I think everyone was in agreement with the three M's being in the midfield in Makaringe, Motuari, and Monare.
Midfield.
That's one point of consensus outside of the goalkeepers. And then up front, it is Lodge, Pule as constants amongst all three of you. And then the only bone of contention is whether it's Hotto or you went for Chobeni, ne? You went for Chobeni. You said Chobeni ahead of
Yeah.
Hotto.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. Those are the teams. Interesting. I don't think you guys are too far off from what we'll probably see, barring any last-minute warm-up injuries or anything like that. But yeah, gents, thank you very much. That's interesting. Like I said, I made a note, and we'll put it out before the games go out and see how close you guys are. But let's maybe then get your predictions. Now that we've had your two teams set up, who is going to win this one? How is it going to go in terms of a score line? Eddie Dinya, let's start with you. Schwabia next. Calvin will end with you. Go for it, Mr. Dinya.
I want to go with 2-0 for Pirates, but Chiefs might snatch one. So I'll go 2-1. Pirates
2-1.
Pirates will win. Yeah.
To Pirates. Okay. Interesting. Schwab?
I'm also going to go with Orlando Pirates win.
Okay.
I just feel that even though Chiefs have been getting the points on the board, I'm still not 100% convinced with Kaiser Chiefs. I don't think they're a well-oiled machine as well as Orlando Pirates is. I think if Orlando Pirates take their chances and a little bit more better decision making in that final third, they've always created chances. They've always looked threatening going forward. They've got speedsters. They've got people that can change games. Not that Kaiser Chiefs doesn't. I just think at this present moment now, I'm more happy watching Orlando Pirates play and the way they play. So that is why I'm going to go with Orlando Pirates win.
Okay. Mr. Sosibo?
I'm going for a goal draw here. I see a Kaiser Chiefs that is revived, a Kaiser Chiefs that's high in confidence, a Kaiser Chiefs that is picking up points, and I see a Kaiser Chiefs that is wounded, that wants to win against Orlando Pirates. Remember, this game is a different game to any other game. So tempers would be high, the magnitude of the game would be high as well. So we're looking at a very, very interesting game, end-to-end stuff. But I see both teams scoring, so that's why I'm calling for a goal draw.
Okay, cool. Score draw from Calvin Sosibo. Eddie and Schwabe reckon that Orlando Pirates will win this encounter. And yeah, hopefully we'll see if you guys have gotten close to what Gavin Hunt and, of course, Joseph Zimbauer are prepping for the derby, the first one of 2021. Gents, thank you so much for your time and your expertise and the robust discussion. Let's see. Maybe Mango will be there. Calvin. Maybe. He might last minute fitness test. It might make it. We'll see what happens. But gents, thank you very much for your thoughts and your impressions. We'll catch up after the games have settled, and we'll take it from there. Have yourselves a good rest of the evening, and to you too on YouTube, do subscribe and get notifications as to when we go live post matches, just to discuss the games that were, or when we do stuff like this and look ahead to some of the big encounters in the league, and of course look ahead to what should be some cracking games. Remember, there's still that battle between Swallows FC and Supersport United. That's another cracking encounter to look ahead to this weekend. Gents, thank you very much. You can say your goodbyes, and then we'll end it.
Cheerio. Good luck, gentlemen, for tomorrow.
I'm a cozy for life.
Fantasy football for life.